Okay, top side control, let's cover the bases just so we all know, okay? One knee close to the hip. Is it bad if sometimes my knee is south of the hip and I'm scooping him in? No, I just don't want to have my knee north of the hip, right? Because that means my knees are together and I fall over really easy. So, same stuff that we've always been doing. We're going to talk about playing with their lapel to kind of keep their shoulders pinned to the ground. But first things first, knee needs to be at the hip or even under the hip, scooping the leg. Other knee needs to be up by the shoulder or armpit. Are there going to be times where he's got a tight frame, so my knee is up here? Sure. Might there be other times where I pull his elbow up and get my knee, the same thing, just north of his shoulder to start to try and lock this? Fine. Okay, today, whether I'm at the hip or south of the hip, at the shoulder or north of the shoulder, totally fine. Mainly because I'm going to keep his shoulders pinned, not only number one with my standard side control, shoulder pressure, and my underhook and my weight over. Cool. Today, we're going to give us a second trick. Part one of what we're going to do today is going to be a way to kind of fix him in place, take away some of his escapes. It'll make it harder for him to shrimp, hip escape, or especially harder to do things like the ghost escape. So now I'm in here, right? I can't always start to get to this arm. Sometimes I can't just pop up to knee on belly. So what I'm going to do, we've played with the lapel a little bit. I'm going to take my hip side hand, since I'm on his left side, it'll be my right arm. I'm going to basically use my thumb. I don't need to get all my fingers on the grip. I just need to flip my thumb inside the gi. Some people like to approach down here. Personally, I like to kind of come in top and hook my thumb in and then slide down. And I want to get it right above where the belt is. The whole point of this first part, you guys, is to get the lapel totally untucked from the belt. So I'm here, I'm playing, I do everything the same. I keep my crushing pressure, I develop my shoulder to turn his chin, I kind of keep this heavy pinch. I come up, I get my thumb inside the lapel, I slip it all the way down, and then I make my grip. Now, if I go straight out to the side, sometimes it's a little bit weird. So my kind of just word of advice from doing this for years and years is I like to come up at like a 45. Don't punch it straight out because there's a little less slack in the back. I like to come up, and just like anytime I'm playing with the lapel, I might have to give 3 or 4 or 5 tugs. When we get really good at it and we have a little luck, I can get it out in one. Sometimes I've got to kind of, now that I've gotten my thumb in and my grip, personally, I'd like to see you guys back it up a little bit so it doesn't get caught over the elbow. Punch your door knockers part on the ground, and all I'm going to try to do is feed it under. So I'm not just going to push it here. I'm kind of keeping tension and slack on it. I'm going to bring it all the way up, and I'm going to hand it to my other hand. One real quick word of advice. Don't grab the very end of the gi, because you'll see by technique part 2 and 3 that I need to make another handoff here. So when I open, 1 or 2 or 3 tugs, back it off, punch it to the ground. I'm still tight, and I'm going to run the circle underneath. And take your time with this. See how I've still got another hand grip length right here? That's what I'm trying to leave myself. Now I'm going to be pulling it tight up under his armpit, and I'm going to start to pull it back under, and this lets me really develop my shoulder. So now that I have this here, I don't have to stay center of my chest, the center of his chest. I get to kind of roll into him a little bit, pull this behind, and I'm really going to exaggerate my shoulder. You guys will see when somebody's doing this to you, this is bad enough, this shoulder pressure is bad enough. When they come to here, keep this up and tight. It really lets them roll the shoulder in, and it feels like they're twice as heavy. So all we're going to do is we're going to get to this spot, really pinch the shoulder. I'm bringing my knuckles towards my shoulder, kind of smashing him, and rolling that shoulder forward and locking Aaron into place. Now we're just going to control here for just a second. Since my hand is here in the underhook anyway, this, if you guys haven't caught onto already, this acts as an underhook, so it's controlling his body. Now, when I transfer, I pull tight, develop the shoulder, and kind of roll into him, I get my hand to kind of go on mission. All we're going to do is come down so he can't escape his hips. So I'm going to keep my hand low and tight, and I'm going to pop up to knee on belly. When I do, I'm going to keep pulling this deeper and up in the air to really lock Aaron in place. Knee on belly. Now I can lift, and the whole time I don't want this here because Aaron can pop his head out. I keep my elbow tight to my body and high up in the air, and this pulls him right into position. Now I can come to my cook position outside and sit here, and I can pick up an easy 2 knee on belly. Okay? If we can't do this, the other 2 techniques we're going to show there are going to be kind of hard. So now that I get this, I'm going to come back. I don't need to push it in. I just kind of tuck it in for him here, just so I can get a good feed. Side control, heavy shoulder, thumb, belt, tug, knuckles, transfer, pull it tight, roll the shoulder. Now, post, pop up knee on belly, hit my grips, and I'm pulling, and bringing my elbows towards my body and up. See how it bends Aaron in the shape of a horseshoe? It's exactly what I want. Come back and repeat last time. Get in, standard side control, roll the shoulder, hook under, transfer, hold it tight, exaggerate the shoulder. Now when I'm ready, here, and I'm pulling everything up in it. Just work that control. Let's do this for 6 minutes, okay? Because the feed is going to be important. If I don't get a good reps on the feed, when we go into the 2 chokes here in a minute, it's going to be tougher. So you guys figure it out. 2 and 2, 5 and 5, 10 and 10. Go by time. All right, let me know if you have any questions. This is called the safety net under. We're going the under series today, under the elbow. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's part 1. It happenstance to be that both submissions we're going to hit are going to be from knee on belly. But I also want to introduce a thought to you guys. Let's say the technique I'm about to show you, for whatever reason, the guy's too big, you didn't get a good grip, maybe they've got small lapels and you can't make the transfer. Okay, I can still continue on to the mount. That would look like this. Here I am, I take my time, I pull, punch, transfer, keep it tight, really roll that shoulder. I can go one knee on belly and have the other knee on the ground, and as my other leg comes up, I get my posture, find the outside. Now we're going to talk about this choke right here next. But let's just say for whatever reason he's blocking it or there's not enough lapel, I can still hit my underhook, go knee to armpit, transfer in. And then later, I can start hitting my kata gatames and my back takes. So if for some reason during these reps with your partner, you're not able to get what I'm about to show you, clearly try the one we're going to work next, but there's always a path to mount right after that. Okay, so I get in the same position. Here I am, my standard side control. I realize, hey, I've got extra time. Seat the thumb, shrink down, punch it. Always keeping tension as I come up and transfer. Even if I have to take an extra couple seconds here, I always want this grip right here if possible. Why? Because I can always give up space if I need it, but if I need to get more space, it's going to be really hard. So I always like to make the deepest transfer I can with at least a palm grip here. Same thing. Pull it, hide it, roll the shoulder, guys. Now I'm going to come to knee on belly. I can cook him here. And again, I just had this question. It's not just about pulling him, because if I leave a gap here, one of Aaron's counters is going to circle his head over. So when I do this, I want to make sure that the inside of my elbow is coming towards my body. See this? Go ahead and circle under. Nope, but if I leave it flared, he can unwind it. So when I come up to cook, my elbows are staying tight to my body and they're disappearing back behind my butt. Boom. Now, I've already got good posture. This has been tight. Let's move a little tight. This has been tight up until now for control and getting into my 2-point scoring position. I'm going to take my hand off of the knee. I'm going to roll it, make karate chop, basically a knife ridge hand. I'm going to put my palm up like I'm asking for money. I'm going to put it just on top of his shoulder. So here's my suggestion. Don't come to the chest, because as I go to blade in, I might pick up the wrong lapel. I want to go over the top of this here, and now just for a second, I'm going to punch my hand high and leave a little pocket of space. I'm doing a baseball choke. Remember the baseball choke? It's like I'm holding the bat, but this time I'm not using his collar, I'm using his lapel. So I'm palm down and I'm palm up, which is why I left myself a little bit of space here. Now as I kind of flare and create a knot, my hand starts to come to the end of the bat. Over the shoulder, but onto the same lapel. Palm up, palm down, I gotta get a good grip. Now, if my elbow's up, I'm gonna smash his jaw, so I need to connect my elbow to his chest. Now, I'm gonna spin, put my knee by his ear, turn around to a north-south position, and I'm gonna put my head, not on his chest, under his armpit. So once I make the transfer, elbow low, because this is the cutting arm. So my elbow has to stay attached to their torso to cut under. Elbow to torso, knee by the ear. Now I unwind my knee on belly, sliding this over the shoulder. And now, don't put your head here, you might get the finish. I need to go totally north-south, and as I put my head down under his armpit, I'm chopping my elbow to the ground to create this like paper cutter vice cut motion. It looks complicated, guys. Once we get the transfer down, the other steps are going to be fairly simple. Take your time with it. When you do this a million times, you'll be quick at it. But if you need a little bit of time, totally fine. So here we are again. Boom, find, keep the tension, punch, roll the shoulder. I can cook him. When I'm ready, come up to knee on belly. Get my 2 points. Now, I'm going to put a little slack. Flare it up, so I don't want my hand right behind his neck now. I kind of punch it so there's a pocket of space right here. Palm up, go over the shoulder. Here. Now, elbow to the chest. As I'm doing this, I'm also putting one knee by his ear, one knee by his shoulder, cutting my elbow to the ground and dropping my head under his armpit while I flex and squeeze. Last time. Tuck the lapel, get to the safety net under. Control the position, announce the shoulder. When I'm ready, knee on belly. I can sit here for a long time if I want. Lengthen up, over the shoulder, under, knee, knee, cut the elbow as I drop my head to the ground. And when you get decent at it, you can hit a lot faster. It's just gonna take some reps, okay? Technically, this is the baseball choke. We're just not using the collar, we're using the normal lapel. Same thing, guys, 6 minutes. If you have questions, I will be around. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, last part, part 3. Don't worry, we're gonna work over some of these on Wednesday also, so this won't be the only time you see them. But again, take advantage of that YouTube channel, guys. This is why I do this. I already know this stuff. This is for you guys to go back and watch if you missed a class or when you need extra. Okay, same thing. Standard side control. I'm gonna find the lapel, tuck punch, keeping it tight to begin with. Everything's tight, tight, tight. Close my hand, come up, get my 2 points for knee on belly, and that way if everything goes bad, at least I got 2 points down belly. Now just a second ago when I was ready, I kind of shrank down. I came here. Then I went north-south, I fixed, and I used this cutting motion. This time we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna leave my hand here. My elbow now is gonna come up in the air, and then I'm gonna do this little weird motion where I roll the top muscles of my forearm, kind of roll palm down, and lift my elbow. See this big pocket of space that's coming right here? We're gonna do a double lapel transfer. The first one was when I transferred it from this hand to this hand. There's my first transfer. Sometimes I can't come in over here. It might be so tight that I can't get my hand in. Or maybe their hand is blocking and I can't come through. So now, I'm still gonna go palm up with this second hand, but instead of going over this shoulder, I'm gonna go over the other shoulder. Now, I came over this shoulder for my baseball choke. This one is gonna come here. I'm gonna flare my elbow, come underneath, and I'm gonna transfer hands, just like I did last time. Boom. Now I let go of it. Now this hand is free to attack. So I'm gonna run an X choke on the lapel. I can come over here, I can grab, not this lapel. I could still make it work with the actual collar, but I wanna come over and use a hook grip. Try to find the same lapel. And now it's the same motion, you guys. I'm gonna drop this elbow as a cut, lift with this hand. I can finish from here. Guess what I like to do? Put my knee by the neck, my other knee uncommits. I don't drop my head towards the belly button. I drop my head towards the ground, and the whole reason I'm doing this is if I leave this elbow, it doesn't choke it. It's got to come under the chin and start this cutting motion.
What keeps him from getting up on his right side?
On his right side?
Yeah, when you're right there.
If he comes up on his right body pressure, and I'm covering him, number one. Number two, when I get good at doing this, he doesn't have a lot of time. I'll be able to hit this in like a second or two. Number three, even if he gets on his side, I can still finish the choke. So, make my transfer. Boom. Take my knee on belly. Boom. I'm going to come other side. Just for a second, I'm going to have 2-on-1. Palm up. I can approach from the front of the throat, or my favorite, watch my hands here. Everybody see my hands? Once I make the lapel, if I come here, there's a lot more steps to it. So after I make this, I just come up and I hook. Now I come around. My elbow has to be tight. If I pinch in here, this smashes Aaron's jaw. It's uncomfortable, it won't kill him. I've got to bring my elbows together. Start to cut. I can finish from here, or I can do that north-south finish. Okay, your choice today. So last time, I get to knee on belly, single lapel. Instead of this shoulder, I come here, palm up. I like to stay behind his neck and hook it. Then I circle, and if I want to use the top side finish, if you guys are having a hard time with north-south, I keep this elbow low, I cut, and I stack my weight, I look him in the eyes as he goes to sleep. Okay, so I've got two finishes, here or here. Last time all the way through. Make my transfer. Hit my knee on belly. Lengthen if I need to. Palm up. Hook above where I just did. Circle. And for some of you guys, especially heavyweights, it may be easier just to keep this tight, drop it, look him in the eyes, flex and squeeze. Just like an EX choke. Okay? If they don't have enough lapel, guys, and it pops out of your hands, let's cover the last scenario. I'm doing all this fancy fun stuff. I pop hold, I can't get grips on the lapel, I can still hit my underhook. Continue to mount. So there's always kind of a path out if we get in trouble. Right? 1, 2, 3.